Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Recovery Podcast. This podcast is titled Where is the Love? And this is because of some observations I've been seeing lately. It might be because of the work that I'm doing on myself, that certain things are being brought to my awareness, and I'm feeling called to share it with you. Now, I know that people listening to this are in a few different camps. Either you're in long-term recovery, and if you are in long-term recovery listening to this, I have a call to action for you today. And if you are still out there doing field research, struggling, I also have a call to action for you. And if you are a friend or a family member of somebody who is suffering or in long-term recovery, I also have a call to action for you today. So I've been noticing people being really critical and criticizing other programs of recovery. And I really think that we have to embrace all programs. The most common program is anonymous groups. There are actually 94 anonymous groups. And there are also a lot, I don't know how many, but there are many, many, many alternative ways to recovery from addiction. And it really doesn't matter the program that somebody's working as long as it's working for them, because we've all had certain life experience and we all come into the program differently. And some of us might come into the program going to an anonymous group. Some of us, like myself, comes into it randomly 7 years after they've not been using and they realize that there are groups. I don't know how many people are in that camp, but like you can't make this stuff up. People come into programs through treatment group because they get formal, clinically managed treatment. People come in all ways, shapes, and forms. And also the precipitating event that someone does get into recovery is also different. And what I've been specifically witnessing is judgment and negativity towards, let's say, people who use medicated assisted treatment. Things like Suboxone or naloxone or naltrexone, anti-craving medications, all the things, all different kinds of medications, people just being really, really critical of those using that in their recovery. Also, people criticizing the different programs that are out there for recovery, like certain things don't work and you have to do this way. That's beliefs. There are millions of ways to be in recovery and millions of ways to work a program of recovery. As long as that person is rewriting their story and they are on their health journey, for them, it's really none of our business what they're doing. And another thing I've been noticing is the belief that like an abstinence from all drugs is the only way. And while that same person is addicted to sugar and mainlining caffeine, like we have to start being like we have to just change ourselves. That's where change starts, is changing in ourselves. So we cannot be placing judgment on people who aren't working a recovery program the way that worked for me, because the way what worked for me may not work for the next person. And we have to be honest and open and willing in the program that we work for ourselves. And that's going to look different for everybody. And it really, we have to just be welcoming people with kindness and love and compassion, because this is a life and death disease. I am not forgetting that. And this is not an excuse, me making excuses for people to continue to explore use because they're not abstinent. That's just a particular place that they are in their journey. They might not be ready for abstinence yet. Maybe they'll get there, but they're not ready yet. So we just have to remember that this is a sign of when we have judgment or this is a sign of resistance in ourselves. It's a sign that we could be holding a resentment. It's a sign that it's my way or the highway. It's a sign of judgment. And when we have judgment in our own self, that means that is a sign of what we need to work on in ourselves, what we don't like about ourselves. And that's not easy to admit now, is it? No, but it's a mirror, because what our thoughts are what our reality is. We create our reality with our thoughts. So if I'm seeing somebody that I'm judging, that's actually the universe reflecting back at me what I need to work on. It's an awareness. So if I'm sitting here, judging somebody for not being abstinent, or somebody wants to go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and they're using medicated assisted treatment and they're being turned away, or whatever the case may be. There's all sorts of scenarios. I'm just using some common examples that I see. If I'm sitting there judging that, like, that's a reflection on me. What do I not like about myself? Where am I lying to myself? What do I need to work on? And just let that be an awareness, because we all are working on our belief system. We're all working on our subconscious minds all the time, because we don't want that software, that programming. We don't want that running, the programming that's not serving us. We do not want that running. So, working a recovery program is changing that. It's being able to work the principles of whatever program that you're working, and it allows that value system to start shifting. It allows for you to start rewriting your story, because you want to be rewriting a story of the reality that you want to reflect. Maybe you want to be a really successful business owner. Maybe you want to make a lot of money. Maybe you're really trying to turn around your life. Maybe you're homeless and you want to have a home. Whatever goal that it is, that's where you are, and you want to be thinking from that place of making that goal. Well, it's certainly not serving us if we're judging, because then those things can't happen, right? So we have to just start trusting our own process. We have to start sending more compassion and more love. I think this community really, really needs it, because this is an ugly disease. This is an ugly dis-ease, however you want to say it. We really have to start being kinder to each other. So what is that looking like? Because we all are going to recover in our own unique way. We're all fighting a brain disease with our brain. And if you don't believe in the disease model, we are all trying to relieve our pain. And we want to get to the source of that pain. What is the root cause of that pain? So I know how to move forward. So I know what to heal. So I know what belief system to extract and what beliefs I need to plant in. So my software that's running, because it doesn't matter, like the software doesn't know what's good or bad. It just runs what it runs. So if I'm thinking I'm not good enough, or I'm a piece of crap, or whatever negative self-talk that is going on, that software system is feeding those thoughts. So when those thoughts are in our conscious, that is a opportunity to change and shift them. And something like emotion code or belief code or body code can really help pinpoint them and release them permanently, which is really cool. But that's not what the conversation is about today. It is about this community needing more compassion and more love than ever before. And it all starts with us. It all starts with us. So I want to challenge everybody to just really welcome that person that you see needing help, and let yourself be an example for that person. And we need to spread the love. And I'm seeing so much negativity out there. And it's like, where's that negativity coming from? It's coming from people who are in pain, people who are in addiction recovery. We are all pain. We've all experienced pain. Not we are all pain, but we've all experienced pain. And our pain body sometimes gets triggered and it comes out. And let's try not to let it out on another person, another fellow in recovery. Let's try to let it out on, let's try to work on ourselves and not let it out like that. Right. So people, that have come to me, if I would have done the same program, like told every single person to do the same thing. Oh, this is how you get into recovery. And it had a cookie cutter way for everyone. Oh man, there would be a lot of people that crossed my path that wouldn't have been well, that wouldn't have gotten well. Because there's many times I have to help people search for a program that speaks for them. And this isn't a knock on any program, absolutely none. They all will work for someone. That's why they exist. And most of them are the ones that aren't anonymous groups, because the anonymous groups, they are evidence-based. But these other groups, a lot of them, they're based off of the 12 steps in some way, shape, or form. Some of them even have the same principles, but the language speaks to the person. It always kills me when, certain wording hinders somebody's healing progress. We can't let how someone else is working a recovery program affect us either. Like it's none of our business what they're doing. They are working the program that they need to work. We've all had different life experience. We've all had different things happen to us. We've all needed to see that there's certain lessons that we've needed to see in the order that we are seeing them. So We just need to be curious, and we need to allow those people to be curious. And we also need to allow them to observe and to learn from us. That is where our service work comes in. Because it's out, in order to manifest anything, in order to manifest the life that we want, we have to be in service of others. This is a way for you to be of service to others because it's the law of giving and receiving. What are you giving? And are you even open to receive? Are you giving love? Are you open to receive that love back? And remember, we always have to give before we receive. So what is that looking like in this scenario, in this world where I'm seeing all of these people being so critical about how other people are recovering? Some of these people are out there sharing their stories, and they're getting criticized for sharing. That is not what we don't want to be seen as a community that judges other people, that pushes people away. We want to welcome every single person because we all have a common bond, and that is that we have this disease of addiction, or we have some kind of pain that we used to relieve with a substance, and it is not serving us anymore. So we were able to enter and into the light. We have to remember every single substance that we've ever used has a frequency. My goodness, I used methamphetamines for over 12 years. I was living in that vibration and frequency a really long time before I learned the lessons that I needed to learn from it in order to get into recovery, or even to start my recovery. And at that time, I didn't even know what the word recovery meant or was. So we have to remember that. And every single person is going to be using a different substance. It doesn't matter what substance it is, but it holds a frequency, and it's going to teach you a lesson. What are we going to learn from that? So another thing, I think we definitely get addicted to negative thoughts sometimes. And when we project those, we actually feel a little bit better about ourselves. And so there might be a little bit of that going on as well. But all to say, we just I wanted people to be aware of what I'm seeing, and you might be seeing it too. And if you weren't seeing it, it might be in your awareness now. So you might be seeing it now after you've listened to this. But I challenge you all to recall when you were in active use, right? And when you first started, was it helpful when somebody put you down when you were fighting the worst cravings of your life? People don't resist change, but they resist being changed. We have to meet people where they're at, you know? So a call to action for people who are in long-term recovery: send the love. The more love we send, the more love we get back. Remember the law of giving and receiving. The more compassion we send, the more compassion we'll get back, right? And we are an example of experience, strength, and hope for other people. And we always have to remember that that is our way of being of service to the other person. Even if we don't even end up talking to them, we have no idea what impact we're having on someone. Even when we sit in a recovery group or anywhere, we don't know the impact we're having on somebody. We might be having an impact on somebody just by being present. So think about that. And what energy are you sending out? What are the frequencies that you're sending out? And then for those of you struggling, if you are struggling, remember that frequency of whatever you're using is going to teach you a lesson. And that lesson will inevitably be leading you to see how you don't need it, that you don't need that substance. I promise you that. I promise you that. I've seen it happen a million times with people. We just have to be open to receive that lesson. And we have to be open to taking the first step, to be courageous. We have to be open to step into that. But it's going to happen different for everyone. Everybody's at a different stage, and there's no judgment for where you are. Because I'm very excited for you to enter this space and see the light. We are the beacon of light for you, and we welcome you. And we love you. And I'm sending you all the compassion and all the healing and everything that you might need to get into recovery, to enter it, so you can start feeling recovered. And then for all of you who are family, friends of anybody that might be struggling, or anybody that is, has had the disease of addiction, also sending love and no judgment to anybody who might still be struggling, or other people, or the the different programs that they're using. And also, if you're in a program for you as a family member, maybe you're in Al-Anon, or maybe you're in a support group, don't judge other people for being on other support groups. Don't judge other family members for healing how they need to heal. And they might not even be open to doing what you're doing. So it goes the same way, right? Because we're in this recovery community and we want to welcome those people. We don't know how they're going to get to us, but we just want to know that everybody's welcome. We're not here to judge you, and we're sending all the love and compassion to you. I think it's needed more than ever. And that's my message for you all today. I hope you took something from it, and I'll see you next time. Drink water. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found value in this information. And if you did, please share it. Another way to support the podcast is to leave a 5-star review. If you want to connect, you can message me on Instagram or email me at andiaray@outlook.com. And remember, drink water.